Everybody experiences new milestones and hard trials in their life. What matters most is what you take from them and the lessons that have lasted in the long run.
There's someone in my life who I really wanted to go on in my life. I know that I wanted to do art and I wanted to go to college for art and I wanted to, like, I've always wanted to do that. And he came into my life and I was pretty sure, I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool, like, I like him. And he basically, I told him about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. I wanted to, like, art education and stuff. And he told me, he's like, girls don't do that, girls can't. You're a teacher, you can be a teacher, you can be a cook, you can, you know, all the stereotypical women things. And he told me that, like, I just couldn't be what I wanted to be. And it really offset me for a while because I was like, well, you know, maybe he's right, maybe I shouldn't strive to be, you know, bigger than I can be, because I know that I can do good things and big things in my life if I wanted to, but I was so set on me being with him that I wanted to please him almost. Like I didn't want to do anything wrong. So I was like, yeah, I'll teach, I'll be a housewife. But then in reality, I knew, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I just kind of set off my plans for a while, for a couple years or so. And kind of after a while, I was like, well, I shouldn't base what I want to do off of a guy, because I'm in high school. Like I can do so many more things in my life than just be a housewife, you know? Like, so I told him one day, I was like, you know, like, this is what I want to do, and I like, don't get me wrong, like, I like you, but like, you're not going to be the one to tell me I can't do this, right? So, and it just kind of brings me back to a quote that my grandpa told me before he passed away. It was, be the best you can be because you're the only you that there is.
So my dad, when it was graduation year, and his counselor pulled him aside at one day and told him that he probably couldn't make it in college, that he shouldn't have gone. And so like now I look back at that, I look at my dad now, my dad's a doctor and he's pretty successful. And so I think my quote for that would be, if you want to see a miracle, be the miracle. Because so many people just kind of, they sit around and hope, well, I hope I can get into a college, I hope there's a miracle. But my dad worked hard and made that a miracle.
I used to cheer at Icon, and I was on their level 5 team, and one day during practice, it was last November, it was at the end of practice and we were tumbling and I landed weird and I hurt my knee and I couldn't get back up. I went to the doctor the next day and they thought, oh, it would just be a small strain or maybe a small ligament tear. We went ahead and got the MRI and I got it back a couple weeks later, and it turned out my ACL was completely torn. At our gym, we had a couple sayings that we always just kind of said, and one of them was, sometimes tomorrow's too late. And I always just thought, like, yeah, that's true, but it's never really gonna happen, and all this other stuff, because you hear that all the time, like, oh, it won't happen to me. But it was, and that night, or the day I got my results back, I realized that sometimes tomorrow really is too late, and you should never take things for granted and appreciate them while you have them.
I like to give blood as often as I can, and one time after I was done giving blood, they called me. I had just gotten home and they called me and they told me that I was HIV positive. And the guy, first off, the guy who let me know this is the worst ever at his job, because he started off by saying, "Hello, is this Taylor Hessian? You're HIV positive." And just hearing those words is something that, I mean, no one wants to be like, no one wants to know that they have a disease or something like that. And so he's terrible at his job, I'm just gonna say that. But turns out, after all, I don't have HIV. He says, you're false positive. The first test, you tested positive for it, but all the preceding tests you were tested negative. So just a little something that I learned from that was that some things we have right now in our lives, all of us do, we're not really thankful for, and we take those things for granted. It's so hard to overlook stuff that's so simple, and for me it was my health. I overlooked my health. You know, I'm not typically sick at all, and that really just humbled me up that, hey, you know, this is something I need to be grateful for because, you know, it might not always be there. Leading into a quote that I like is from 2 Corinthians 9:15, and that reads, "Thanks be to God for his undescribable gift." And this really resonates in me because, you know, his gift is undescribable because it could be anything. Anything that he gives us that is good is his gift.